Hey guys, we are the Produce School and this is our brand new studio in Amsterdam. Before giving you a complete tour of the studio, I think it would be great to first tell you how we got here. Because this is not our first studio and we've taken quite some steps to get to the point where we are right now.
We've been producing and doing YouTube for over 8 years right now. And back when we were 12 and 30 years old, we could only have dreamed of a studio space like this. Both of us actually started out in the living room and we installed FL Studio on the desktop of our parents and we started playing around.
There's actually this picture of us where we're sitting behind the computer at Nick's house, which is crazy to see how much we have grown over the years. Then some time later, we started recording videos in our own bedrooms with a face cam and a microphone, and the channel started to grow more and more.
In 2021, we finished high school and we moved into an apartment together. And here we created our first home studio in a separate room we had. We also then bought some of our first cool musical gear like the Moog Subsequent, a Juno and a proper sound card. So the quality of our studio was actually already improving a lot.
While we were still finishing university, we were already planning to make a move to Amsterdam. And via a mutual contact, we found out there was a new studio complex that was being built in Amsterdam. So we got in touch at a very early stage and started developing the plans for our own studio.
Together with the team of Recorder, which is the name of the studio complex, we sat down and we had several meetings to discuss the plans of the studio. We created some sketches, and after knowing completely how we wanted the studio to look like, the team of Recorder started actually building the place. So we're now on the outside of our studio.
The studio is basically a box in box, and there's some very thick outside walls that help block all of the noise and sounds from the outside and from the inside. It has two doors. The first door is a very heavy one, which also helps blocking out all of the sounds. And then there's a second door which lets you enter the studio. So here we are at our studio, office or creative space, where we make music, record videos, or just hang out. It's basically our second home because we're here for like so many hours a day.
The room is around 7 by 4 meters, which is around 28 square meters. And for us, it feels like it's the perfect size to work in.
The walls are very big acoustic panels that have this soft and nice fabric on them. The side walls as well as the back wall have this light gray fabric that works well with the LED lights, so we can choose the color of the LED lights and then it puts it on nicely on the fabric. Then the ceiling and the walls behind the speakers have this very nice dark blue or navy color on it. The front and the back walls also have these acoustic wooden slat panels that help with the acoustics, and they add some nice texture to the room as well.
When developing the plans for this studio, we obviously had to think about the monitors we would choose for this room. And after some professional advice, the PMCs immediately sparked our interest. We just had to choose between the PMC 6.2 and the PMC 8.2. And as you can see of the size of these bad boys over here, we chose the PMC 8.2 because we were basically just astonished by the sound and we didn't want any other speakers after we heard them for one time. They are 3-way active studio monitors and the sound that comes out of them is absolutely insane. Everything sounds extremely clear and you can hear all the details and layers in the music, which basically makes it amazing to do music production, mixing and sound design. They're standing on Koenig and Mari stands, and it was absolutely necessary that we use some heavy stands because the speakers itself are weighing 40 kilograms.
Moving on from the monitors, we go to our desk, which is an essential part of the setup. It's an electrical stand which we can use to lift up the desk if we want to be like standing and working. Of course, it's not the best for like the audio quality because some like the sound waves get blocked a little bit of the speakers. But if you're editing a video or you're not really using the speakers, it's nice to stand up, and which is also a little bit better for like your back and your legs. So we can just easily use a button like this one to put up the stand and just be working and standing like this. There's not that much on our desk, only a few things. One of them is this MIDI keyboard, which is the Native Instruments Komplete Kontrol A49. So it has 49 keys, and yeah, well, it's a MIDI controller, very simple, and we just use it to play in some notes, play some piano, the basic stuff. Then we have a little Bluetooth keyboard from Logitech. Yeah, very basic stuff. Another Logitech mouse. As I don't like the trackpad of Mac, I like to keep working with a mouse. The screen is an LG UltraWide screen. I'm not sure what the dimensions are, but I will leave the specs for it in the description. And it's a really big screen and nice to use, so you can see your whole playlist in FL Studio or Ableton, and makes it very easy and fast to work with. The sound card we use is this Apollo Twin X, which is from Universal Audio. It's an amazing sound card to work with. It has a very easy like volume control with LED indicators. There's two inputs, which we usually use for microphones. And then we added this expander from Behringer over here in this rack. And this we use to add more inputs to the sound card, so we can like link up all of our synths over here. But before going over the synths, let me show you this rack we have over here. This is a 19-inch studio rack where you can put in hardware. So this Behringer Ultragain, which we use as an expander for the sound card, is here. Then there is a power supply built in, and we have this drawer over here, which we use to connect our MacBook to the studio with just a few cables. You plug it in and then you get sound and everything is connected to it. Now we're at the back of the studio rack, and as you can see, there is a big mess of cables because, yeah, well, all the cables of the studio go in here, but we definitely should do something about like cable management. But yeah, we'll definitely find time for it, hopefully in the future. Continuing the studio tour, we are moving on to the synths. We have a total of 4 hardware synths that we use. To be honest, we mostly use in the box, so these are just little toys that can sometimes like spark a little inspiration, but we mostly work in the box. First of all, we have this Subsequent 37 from Moog, which is amazing for bass lines. It's a mono synth, and yeah, the filter is amazing. It has a really warm and fast sound. The first time I heard this, I was like blown away. Then we have the Sequential Prophet 6 desktop. So it doesn't have the keyboard under it. So if you want to use it, you need MIDI to send out notes to. This one is amazing for like pads and leads because it's a poly synth, so you can do more notes. And then underneath here, it's our oldest synth, which is the Juno 106. Very famous one that was used a lot in the 80s. And it has this amazing, amazing sounds. It can sound like this. Just a really classic synth. And then on top of this rack, we also have the Roland, or well, it's a Behringer 303 recreation, the classic acid sound that we use if we want to create some acid lines.
So over here we have a little storage space, and in here are some cables, which is not that interesting, and also some percussive elements which we can use also for the sample packs and basically in our own productions. So it's always nice to have some extra space, because in the end you always end up with some stuff like cables and gear, which you just can put in here and it looks a bit more organized. Right here we have a very cool little attribute for our studio, which is basically a guitar amplifier, but it is not a guitar amplifier because it's actually a fridge. And many of you probably have already seen one like this, as it's pretty common in studios, but it just contributes to the vibe of the overall room, and it's always nice to have a fridge in it as well. We also have a really nice sofa which matches the colors of the room and just looks really aesthetic in general. And for us it's just really nice if someone is sitting there producing, someone else can just chill over here. It's actually really comfortable as well. Then on the left and the right we have some plans to basically improve the aesthetics of the room a little bit more, and I think they look really nice. Also when we record some videos in the background, it just looks a bit more aesthetic. Then on top there we have an air conditioning, which basically is a necessity here in summer, and even you can use it to heat up the room during the winter. So that's a really nice addition. And then here, it's hard to see it behind the plants, but we have an air circulation system. So it basically makes sure that there's air coming in and air coming out of the room, which makes sure we don't die when sitting here too long.
All the lights of this room are controlled by Philips Hue. So the LED strips, the spots on the ceiling, and even this little IKEA bulb, they are all controlled by Philips Hue, which is amazing and really easy to use. We have this control hanging over here at the front door. And this you can use to like brighten up the room or make it darker. And you can also use the app of Philips Hue, which is really easy to use. And then you can just really easily change like the whole vibe of the room. For instance, you can put it totally red and you can have a completely different vibe for the studio and like make it how you want it. So that's a complete tour of the studio. We are very grateful for it, and without you guys it would never been possible to have a place like this. So we are really thankful for all the support that you guys gave us over the last couple of years.
If you want more information about the studio complex, which is again called Recorder Studios in Amsterdam, you can head over to the link in the description and you will find out way more information about long-term rental, day-to-day rental, and much more this place has to offer.
Thanks again so much for the support. If you have any questions about things in the studio or why we did certain things, then feel free to drop a comment and we will try to get back to you on there. For now, we want to thank you guys so much for watching and we'll see you in the next video.